fire cooking, and Nancy stories, and the pulsating rhythm of our sounds all resemble the Jamaica we know and love. This is why TPDCo places emphasis on community tourism development. With its unique offerings and potential to generate income for local communities, this type of tourism invites you to get up close and personal and experience the magic of Jamaica. To learn more about community tourism, visit www.tpdco.org or call 968-3441. The Tourism Product Development Company Limited has the mandate to develop and maintain Jamaica's tourism product. With a team of driven professionals across 5 locations, this world-class agency of the Ministry of Tourism continues to contribute to the growing tourism industry and enhance the visitor experience, thereby improving the well-being of Jamaicans. For more information, visit www.tpdco.org. TPDCo, enhancing and developing Jamaica's tourism product.
And inspiration. To be happy, you must be grateful, so you can feel true joy. You gotta stay awake, keep your eyes and your mind open, so you can stay aware. If you're blinded by the hurt, if you're blinded by the pain, if you're blinded by the stress, you won't see that the simple things we take for granted are the things we should be giving thanks for. Forever grateful is my mood, forever thankful, forever humble. I look to God who is the truth, for my direction and inspiration. In this life, things won't always go your way. Things won't go as planned, but it's how we choose to move forward that shapes our destiny. We must learn to adjust, we have to adapt. We can't stay the same all the time. Things are changing. We have to open our eyes and be wise. Forever grateful is my mood, forever thankful, think me did worth it. Me never think me could have make it. I couldn't see beyond the clouds. The negative thoughts in my head was so loud. I didn't think I was the prize, always feeling the need to hide. Then one day it hit me that I am royalty. Queen, yeah, yeah. Woman, you are a queen. The world will make you feel like you're defeated. Then lift you up and then them leave you stranded. Queen, yeah, yeah. Woman, you are a queen. Hold up your head, my girl. Remember, say how we run the world. I know what it's like, feeling like it's a constant fight. You don't like what you see, but keep the faith, my girl, and watch your words become your destiny. You have to say what you want and do what you say. In time, my girl, you'll be on your way. Queen, yeah, yeah. Woman, you are a queen, yeah. The world will make you feel like you're defeated. Then lift you up and then they leave you stranded. Queen, yeah, yeah. Woman, you are a queen. Hold up your head, my girl. Remember, say how we run the world. They'll try to tell you who to be, how to look, and even how to see. They'll try to put you in a box to keep you from the top, and when you look the door down. But you can't make them no wiser. Learn them tricks and shame them. Remember who you are, my girl. Remember, say how we run the world. We, yeah, yeah. Woman, you are a queen, yeah, yeah. The world will make you feel like you're defeated. Then lift you up and then leave you stranded. Queen, you are a beautiful shining star. Hold up your head, my girl. Remember, say how we run the world. How we run the world. We, how we run the world. Woman, you are a queen. Woman, you are a queen.
Honourable Edmund Bartlett, Minister of Tourism. Mr. Stephen Edwards, Acting Executive Director of the Tourism Product Development Company Limited. Distinguished presenters, colleagues, teachers, students, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. Thank you so much for joining us. The words of our national anthem were written by Reverend and Honourable Hugh Sherlock, OJ, OBE, with music by Honourable Robert Lightburn, OJ, arranged by Mapletoft and the then Mrs. Christine Poole. This creative work is a prayer for our nation. May I invite us to stand as we invoke God's presence through our national anthem. Thank you so much. Good morning, good morning, good morning. My name is Marlene Stevenson-Daly, Corporate Communications and Community Awareness Coordinator at the Tourism Product Development Company Limited. And mine is the pleasure of hosting this, our second virtual Tourism Youth Expo and Career Fair. Coming to you live on the Zoom platform and on GIS Facebook and YouTube, as well as TPDCo's YouTube channel. Our theme is Tourism in the New Normal, the gateway to success. And we believe it to be appropriate given the pandemic in which we have found ourselves. Now, for some quick housekeeping matters, rules of engagement. Please note that this meeting is being recorded for quality and training purposes. By continuing to be in the meeting, you're consenting and authorizing TPDCo or any entity authorized by TPDCo, such as the Jamaica Information Service, to copyright, use and publish any of the images or recording in any format taken during the current year. You understand that these images may be used for a variety of purposes and may appear on the TPDCo and or the GIS's website, in the TPDCo magazine, on promotional materials or any other media now known or to be invented. You also understand that TPDCo or any entity authorized by TPDCo will use the images exclusively for TPDCo purposes and not for any commercial gain. Now, remember to keep your microphone muted. If possible, we invite you to keep your videos on so that our presenters can see and feel your presence. Trust me, it helps in this virtual space. But remember, it must be background friendly. Please feel free to use the reactions and the chat room to share with us. When the time comes for questions and answers, we will also take those questions via the chat room unless I indicate otherwise. Now, are you ready? Let's get going. We had our first virtual Tourism Expo in March, and if you missed it, here's a 1-minute recap.
Good morning, teachers, students, and presenters. Let me first extend a hearty welcome to you all for responding to our invitation to participate in this virtual Tourism Youth Expo and Career Fair.
Let me begin by saying that we are indeed in a new normal, an unprecedented time.
You can work from anywhere, anytime. You decide your working hours. Once you have a phone, a camera, anything that you can use to record.
So you will not only learn skill, but you will learn communication, math, data entry, among others.
Right. Just a little recap for you. We were so delighted at the response, and today we have some additional areas in the industry to explore with you. But first, please allow me to share a brief message from the Acting Executive Director of TPDCo, Mr. Stephen Edwards, who is unavoidably absent. Though not here in person today, I know we are in his heart. And his presentation reads thus. Good morning and welcome students, teachers, presenters, and participants to the second staging of TPDCo's Virtual Tourism Youth Expo and Career Fair. Today, you will once again receive information that can potentially change your lives. Additionally, since we're here again, this highlights the quest for knowledge and the relevance of the information shared. Tourism, as you know, is a valuable sector, and based on the feedback received, this fact has been recognized by everyone present today. Although, based on current events, the challenges may seem insurmountable, our aim is for an even more resilient sector that will benefit us all. We are grateful that you recognize our vision, making your participation important to us. Now, in our previous staging, we had over 500 attendees from across the island and as far as the Turks and Caicos, and the presentation has been viewed over 5,000 times and counting on the social media platforms. With this reach, we were able to achieve our objective of sharing valuable information and encourage engagement from teachers and students alike. Today, you will hear from experienced players in the industry on the topics including the attraction subsector, mixology, tourism organizations, and more. Once again, I implore you to open your minds. Be actively engaged and put the information to use as you make decisions about your future career. I could not end without letting you know that this year TPDCo celebrates 25 years of contribution to the enhancement and the development of Jamaica's tourism product. We have done so through strategic partnerships with a wide range of stakeholders. I take this opportunity to acknowledge our partners and salute our staff who over the years have given sterling service to the tourism industry. Many of our staff are not seen on the front line, but they continue to work in the trenches to ensure that Destination Jamaica remains top of mind to our visitors. Thank you for participating. Enjoy the Expo and all the best in your endeavors. Yours truly, Stephen Edwards, Acting Executive Director, TPDCo. All right, so ladies and gentlemen, we are in unprecedented times. But you know, a wise man once said, life is about accepting the challenges along the way, choosing to keep moving forward and savoring the journey. And so today, as we keep moving, we are heartened by the presentation of our Minister of Tourism in the recent sectoral debate, which gave a glimmer of hope for our industry. Let's welcome Honorable Edmund Bartlett, Minister of Tourism, with a brief remark to get us started.
My special regards to our leadership from the TPDCo and the staff and students of the various schools across the country participating in this very important launch. Let me begin by saying that we are indeed in a new normal, an unprecedented time, which calls for bold action, courage, a time where the strong survives. Indeed, part of our strength will come from our preparation to meet the times head on. And so I'm quite pleased that you have joined this virtual Expo and career fair. I, along with members of the TPDCo and the tourism sector overall, get an opportunity to rap with you about careers, some of which are evolving, and your possible future. Tourism is resilient and will bounce back. We must be prepared to catch the wave when it rebounds and share as a nation in its benefits. I'm happy to be able to speak to all viewers, students, and teachers, and to extend my welcome to our partners and other participants. Under the theme, Tourism in the New Normal, the Gateway to Success, this is a timely conversation which will reassure you that all is not lost. Despite the challenges, we would like you to know that the sector is still open and your future is safe. Keep on the steady path, regardless of the obstacles and distractions. Put the knowledge to good use. And as you prepare for a prosperous future, remember that your achievements will be determined by your willingness to learn and your commitment to go the extra mile. I'm happy that you have decided to join us. And your participation highlights your thirst for knowledge and your ambitious nature. Have a wonderful session and all the best in your future endeavors. Thank you.
And thank you, Minister, for your visionary leadership and your faith in the Jamaican people. Now, Jamaica is fortunate to have over 100 attractions, more than all the other islands of the Caribbean combined. They range from the iconic Dunn's River Falls, several great houses, Mystic Mountain, Green Grotto Caves, Lover's Leap, YS and Reach Falls, the Blue Lagoon, rafting on the Rio Grande and on the Martha Brae River, Bob Marley Museum, Negril 7 Mile Beach, Rastafari Indigenous Village, Bunkers Hill Adventure Tours, just to name a few. Chukka Caribbean Adventures, birthed in Jamaica, has spread its wings into other territories and owns and manages a range of attractions which employ many people in the attraction subsector. To tell us more about career opportunities in this area of tourism is the Chief Operating Officer of Chukka Caribbean Adventures, Miss Lisa Gomes. Ms. Gomes is currently at Chukka Caribbean Adventures Group Limited, CCA, as Group Chief Operating Officer, COO, with a wealth of experience in acquisitions and negotiations. Although new to the tour industry, she has worked on the expansion of the group into water sports, where CCA acquired Captain's Water Sports, now trading as Resort Solution Limited. Ms. Gomes continues to bring innovation and expertise to further build group synergies. Prior to this, she worked in the hospitality sector for over 5 years with Sandals Resorts International as Director of Finance and Planning. Here, she served as an integral member of the team that negotiated and accomplished the expansion of the group into the Eastern Caribbean. She has over 30 years of experience in finance, investment banking, and pension fund management with one of the Caribbean's largest integrated financial conglomerates, Guardian Holdings Limited, where she served for 9 years as president of Guardian Asset Management Jamaica Limited, GAMJA. Of note, Lisa was responsible for driving GAMJA's growth in shareholders' equity from 100 million Jamaican dollars to 1 billion Jamaican dollars. And she piloted the successful and profitable sale of the company in 2010 when the parent company decided to exit the business. Very important lady. Additionally, Lisa serves as chairman of Proven Wealth Limited and chairs its audit committee. She also sits on the board of Kingston Property Limited and its investment committee. Just before Ms. Gomes comes, I want you to check this out.
Anything you want in, feel good, let's go off, we'll go right in.
Taste of Chukka. Miss Lisa Gomes, the virtual floor is all yours. Good morning. Lisa, you need to unmute. Go ahead, Lisa.
Hello, are you hearing me? Are you?
We're hearing you on Zoom, Lisa. I'm not too sure what is happening elsewhere, but please go ahead.
Awesome. You know, when you started talking about me, I wondered if I was like 60 years old, you know, because I've done quite a lot in my career. I want to welcome the delegates to this. I'm really, really excited about it. I started working in Chukka about 1.5 years, almost 2, and it was awesome and exciting. Put up the presentation, so she's going to share it. Okay, great. You'll have to come around. Yeah, so what I did, how I approached it, because 15 minutes is really not enough time for me to talk. It's just such an exciting topic about careers at Chukka. So how I started is I decided to just kind of give my little introduction, which I'm sure everybody already know. So what I'm saying is that the accommodation, as everybody know, includes resorts and villas, and Airbnb has really exploded, especially after COVID. It includes food and beverage in hotels and out of hotels, and of course recreation. Marlene talked about some, but things like Sumfest and so on, all those things contribute to the tourism industry. And of course things like Expedia and Destination Management Company. Big topic now, cruises. Jamaica was awarded home porting for NCL, which is huge. It's the first time. And also Chaco was lucky to be appointed agents, so we're celebrating that. And again, all the linkages, we mustn't forget all the linkages, craft market, beauty shops, and what I call mom and pop operations that really service a lot of the industry. So I just wanted just for a second to show you a typical representation of the growth of the sector. It's really tremendous growth, and that it contributes 50% of the foreign exchange in Jamaica. That might have been said somewhere else before. And in 2018, that was $3 billion. And of course, one of the statistics that I like to look at is that for every visitor in Jamaica, we have every Jamaican, we have 1.4 visitors every year. Can you imagine that? That's the number of people that love brand Jamaica. And so I'm laying this groundwork to say it's one of the most exciting places to work. And Marlene talked about attractions before. We have public and private sectors, the Duns, the Green Grotto. She talked about all of those. We have stuff for what is called the adrenaline junkies who wants to do ATVs, buggies, horseback riding, zip lining, cliff jumping. We saw some of that in the video. And of course, ocean experiences, snorkeling, party boats is a big thing, and water sports, diving, fishing, banana boats, tubing, hobie cats, and all those kinds of activities. So there's a whole range of things that we do in the industry, and you can find jobs in every different level. And just to add some things, just some other things to think about as we manage attractions, which everyone here would know: safety first. We have to ensure that all our guests and visitors come enjoy Jamaica, brand Jamaica, and head back out safe. Then there are some things that are important in terms of careers, like leadership careers for many different areas. And that's how we keep aligned to delivery of the product. And this is an industry where I keep saying people. It is people create experiences for guests, and it's sometimes when I was doing a class recently, and I said there's some people that are naturally great at it. When I worked with Stuart, he always said, hire the smiles and we'll train all the rest. And that is the truth. When somebody walks into a room smiling, it really gives the guests an experience they can't forget. We have had some fabulous Expedia reviews, and we coined the word chockerific to mean that our guests came and had a fabulous time. And one thing that is very critical to note in this industry, it's 24/7, 365. There's no Christmas and New Year's, because those are the times when people from all over the world want to visit Jamaica. I mean, they want to visit Jamaica every day, that's the truth. But those days more so because they have time to take some time off. And very important, a moment to spend on technology. Since COVID, March 2018, most people in the industry has had to implement technology to reduce touch points to guests. For example, we decided to move away from paper waivers to electronic waivers, so less opportunities to touch things that affect guests. So that has dramatically impacted the industry, that use of technology, and of course, we embraced it wholeheartedly. And I just wanted to mention as well that there are people who manufacture tours like Chucker, and there are people who sell tours that are Chucker, but you'll never know that they are. So there's also part of the industry where different wholesalers will buy tours and use those tours to manufacture their own tours, but the persons come back to companies that actually do manufacture of tours. That's very, very important to understand. So you know that if you're choosing a career, do you want to be on the side that actually doing the experience, or the side that trying to sell it or put together a tour, right? Then, of course, we need to look at some of the considerations post-COVID. Where do people want to go to feel safe, open air, social distancing? Because all of these things created new jobs in the industry. We have people who do quality control, people who will be checking to make sure the protocols are followed. And of course, this is going to be very important to people as they think about their careers as well. What I call location, 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 because you want to be close to where the attractions are, and the attractions need to be close to the ports. So when you think about where you're going to live and work, and all of those things are very important. Airport, cruise ports, resorts. And we talked a little bit about enhancing the business through technology, sales and marketing, finance, and customer service. And you see, those are all jobs in the attraction industry that you likely will find in many other or all other industries. Now I talked a little bit about people, and I talk a lot about guest experience. And so it's very important, human resource management in our industry. So I borrowed this from Richard Branson, who is one of my mentors. And one of the things I would tell everyone, the youths on this call, is always have a mentor for your career, because that is one of the ways that you drive yourself to where you want to go. So he always say, take care of your employees and they will take care of your business. And that's the mark of a good employer. When persons that your friends will say to you, I hear that at this place, they really treat their employees well and so on. You know that is a company that's going to invest in you and give you training, because they understand that for them to deliver the product, they need to treat their employees well. And of course, so recruiting is very important. Recruiting in our industry is very important. Finding the right people for the right jobs, that is a big career in attractions, because as well is we're in a industry that is seasonal. So sometimes you need 400 people and sometimes you need 2. So how you recruit is also very important. So for the persons who like that end of it, and of course, we train, because that's so important. So we also need persons who have expertise in training, because literally you train every day, train and retrain. And of course, for all of that, we need to always award employees. So again, great companies have awards for employees. And of course, great companies also get international recognition and awards. So we talked a little bit about managing the product, managing the quality. Most attractions, or all attractions, they aim to give a visitor more than they expect. They want to exceed their expectations. They want persons to leave their locations overwhelmed and just wow. So that those things, if you believe that you have a personality that enjoys serving people, is how I call it, this is the industry for you. But there are also other ways to serve. When we manage quality of our product, we need people to do what is called a time and motion study, which would be persons sitting down, looking at activities and timing it and make sure we do it the same way every single time. And this is very critical to delivering a first world product. We have to give all those visitors we talked about the same product every single time. There can be very little variation. So there are careers in logistics, capacity management, and capacity management will be ensuring that if we have 100 bits of an equipment. We don't sell 200 of them because, of course, that creates issues with your brand promise. So we have to manage quality. And of course, in every tour that we do, we have to have international certification if there is one, local certification is if there's one. And for some companies, they, like us, we like to say we want to go over and beyond what is requested because we just want to ensure, well, our motto is safety first. That's one of the things that we say here at TPDCo all the time. So this is really critical for us. Environmental, how do we protect the planet? Very critical. Good companies always focus on that. And when we talk about certification as well, before I talked about water sports, which is a whole different trajectory of some things that you can do in the attraction industry. A lot of people come to the Caribbean and Jamaica for scuba diving. They want to see those reefs and beautiful fishes that we have. And of course, there's certification, PADI certification, and so on for persons who love the water. So let's go into a little more detail on the types of career. We have the ones that are technical and relatable, the ones that you will see in other industries like accountants, IT professionals, web developers, human resource employees, sales, marketing, analysts, what I call chief of staff, somebody who's your assistant to do everything for you anyway. Assistant is just not the right word for that job. So I call it chief of staff. We need the normal administrations, telephone operations, person who do procurements, meaning they go out and buy stuff for you and in the industry. We need persons that are responsible for compliance, who will liaise with all the government agencies to ensure that we are right on track with all the things that we need to do to keep our guests safe. We need mechanics because we have boats and we have cars and we have trucks and we have buses. So we need mechanics. We need people who look at cost accountants. We need sales professionals. We need reservation people. And more important, we need experienced officers or experienced guides who will ensure that every guest walk away have a terrific time, which is what we celebrate here a lot. We love to hear those or get those kinds of reports that we really overwhelm our guests with great service. As a matter of fact, we have an award for the number of times your name is called on social media, because we believe that those kinds of awards really help employees to enjoy their job. And so those are some of the ones that literally you could find in other industries. And of course, there are the ones like CEOs and COOs and CFOs, which you have to be experienced, you've had a lot of training and so on, but there are always jobs available out there. And for some of the technical specific to our industry, we have people who do logistics, who do the planning of what time somebody should leave their hotels. They work with dispatch at various hotels or wherever we're going to pick up guests on the cruise port and so on to take them to tours. So the job of logistics is very important in our industry. Most tours take place at locations, and therefore we need to do location management. We need to ensure that the locations are well kept. So we need gardeners, we need painters, builders, and all those things to keep the product fresh and refreshed. So those are jobs that are there as well. And as I said before, cruise is so topical now. The cruise lines hopefully will come back soon. So we need new guides. We need guides. We need so many guides, as a matter of fact. And it's usually a job for people who want to do it part-time and full-time as well, because, for example, people could come in on a Saturday and do it, or a Sunday if they had another job. It's a job that you get called on by day, depending on if we have 6,000 people or 3,000 people. But there are some people who make a career out of it and do very, very well. And I will just give you a little example of how some people really enjoy those jobs. Because we have not had cruise ships for a year, we had persons that we brought into administration to help, some really good people that we didn't want to lose. So we say, come in and do some of the kinds of jobs. And you wouldn't believe when we spoke to them, they said, oh my gosh, I can't wait until cruise comes back because I really enjoy interacting with those cruise guests. So can you imagine that they prefer to be out there on the bus, talking to them, telling them all about Jamaica, telling them about the lovely time they'll have here. And those are really critical roles that we need to fill. As a matter of fact, we have some ads out now for those guides. And as I say, there are some that will work every single day if they want to, and again, some that will work and might have other jobs and just want to come in on special days to work with us. We will also need so many boat captains, lifeguards. Those are things that, so we need those boat captains and lifeguards for our water sports division. So again, those are careers that people really enjoy. Well, persons who like the ocean, like me, I can do it every single day. And then there are very technical and tour-specific jobs like safety officers for zip lines, high-angle experts, people who help us build and maintain our zip line systems, people who work on buggies. We talked about mechanics, but we also need guides, people who will guide our guests to ensure that they do it safely, because can I tell you, a lot of people love to come and speed on the buggies and ATVs, and that's where again safety officers come in to ensure that the guests don't what I would say go over and beyond what we've set as our speed limit. And of course, one of the things that I find very interesting about Jamaica is that Jamaicans love their rivers, as we saw when we were closed and locked down. So, and we work on 3 rivers. So river guides is one of the things that we always are recruiting for. I'm sure there's an ad out there for river guides. Horse care personnel is another job that we struggle to find people for, because you need a quiet disposition for dealing with animals. And sometimes it's difficult to find people who really love animals, but it's really hard work caring for horses, literally 24 hours. But I can tell you that guests really, really enjoy the experience of trail riding and swimming in the ocean with the horses. That gets a lot of great reviews, and we need guides for that to ensure that the guests gets delivered the most awesome experience that they can have.
Lisa.
Yes.
We are going to just take, maybe if we have any questions, those persons listening in at this time, if there are questions, we ask them to put them in the chat now, so that we can get a few questions answered in the interest of time. So if there are questions, do we have any questions at this time? Yes, Oshin, go ahead with the question so that Lisa can.
Someone asked, do you do internships or summer jobs for the form?
Yes, actually, that was the second to last slide. I think I have about 4 more slides. That's the second to last slide, where we put together a program called Best of the Best, and we're going to take interns for it. I could send that information to Marlene after to share with everyone.
Okay, Best of the?
Best.
Best of the Best, okay.
Yes.
All right, we have one more.
The other question is, what are the tourism jobs in logistics?
Right.
And what are the requirements to be employed?
For logistics, anybody who would have had a degree in engineering or is very very structured, because the jobs in logistics is actually taking together all the inputs of a tour, which would be people, timing, equipment, and ensure that everything runs the exact way every single time. So it's a job that really requires somebody who is probably mathematical as well, and also very structured. As I say, there are specific degrees in logistics, but if you did a associate degree in engineering or even high school, maybe CAPE exams, you can start in a career like that. Okay. So you said logistics and you said something else. What was the second thing?
I believe it had to do with the requirements, which you answered.
Right.
So that person would need to have something in engineering or mathematics, because it's something that requires a lot of structure. And you have to be very methodical to do well at something like logistics, I believe. All right, so you have 1 minute to wrap it up, Lisa. And
okay, no problem. Yes, so I'm just going to say the water sports, jobs, guidance, and whatever. I'll send a presentation so you can share it with the staff, because they have a lot of information. There's a slide on some of the specialized training, and that will be applicable. And there's also a slide on the internship that we started this year. And I know we ran out of time. I said 15 minutes couldn't be enough for such an exciting topic. But I want to say in closing that for me, there's a lot of value in this industry. It's for personal and professional reasons. We operate at world-class standards. Big careers can be made throughout this industry if you love people and you love hospitality. And I also wanted to say that we never should underestimate the contribution of this sector to Jamaica and wide-scale national development. This industry is in the business of people and serving and connecting with people. And if that's where your passion is, we just need to make visitors happy and deeply satisfied as we go about this job, because to me, it's the best job in the world.
Okay. Thank you so much, Lisa. I know Ocean probably has just one final question. We don't have a lot of time. We're going to have to do it very quickly, but let's just get that question in.
All right. Where can we find information on the program Best of the Best?
I'm going to send it to Marlene, and if I
can dispatch Lisa to all the participants who are registered on this program, and I'm sure that will answer that question fulsomely.
Right.
Thank you so very much. I know it's a little rushed. I know the time is short, but we're just trying to whet the appetites of our participants. Quite a few of them who are online from all across Jamaica. And we want to just say thanks to you for your input. Have yourself a great day today. We'll see you soon.
Thanks very much, Marlene. Enjoy the rest of your day.
All righty. Thank you so much. And guess what? We have some goodies. We have some prizes that we want to give away. I'm not even too sure what's in my goodie bag, but I know I have bamboo straws, and I have pens, and I have, let me see what else is here. Okay, I have TPDCo hot mugs and all of that. So we're going to ask a couple of very quick questions. And let me see, my first question. In which parish can you find Chukka Good Hope Adventure Park and Falls? Put it in the chat. In which parish can you find Chukka Good Hope Adventure Park and Falls? And of course, our first 3 correct answers will win a prize. And I have another quick question. This one says, how many years is TPDCo celebrating this year? How many years is TPDCo celebrating this year? You heard earlier on from the acting executive director that it is an anniversary year, and a very special one too. So put the answers in the chat, and then we will tell you who our winners are. As we continue, we were having such a rollicking time last Expo that we overran. And we did not get to hear from our next presenter. He is a dynamic young man. His mother called him Gossett Malachi Brown Jr., and he's affectionately known as Gussie Bads. Currently, he's the bar supervisor at the Rock House Hotel in Negril, where he has worked for the past 10 years. He has climbed the ladder of success. Gossett started as a busser in the restaurant, was later given an opportunity to be a bar back. From there, he learned how to make different beverages and entered numerous bar competitions. As bar supervisor, he creates new cocktails and procedures and maintains their quality. He plans the guest cocktail experience and he prices these cocktails.
He trains bartenders and wait staff in the areas of product knowledge and the procedures of the bars of the hotel. Ladies and gentlemen, students, teachers, all, among his numerous accolades is Bartender of the Year 2018. He went on from this to become the first culinary ambassador of Jamaica's gastronomic product, overseen by the Tourism Enhancement Fund, TEF, and the Tourism Linkages Network, TLN. In 2019, he returned as one of the judges for the same competition. He has many aspirations. One is to become the first executive mixologist for the Rock House Hotel. Another is to write an all-Jamaican cocktail book using gastronomic techniques. Give it up for Gussie Bads Brown Jr. as he gives us some insight into the career of mixology and bartending.
Hello everyone, I'm Gossett Brown here at the Rock House. I'm bar supervisor of the Pushcart Rum Bar and the Rock House Restaurant. Alright, so today I'll be making a Bob Marley shot. So we're going to start off with our 2-ounce shot glass, a jigger, and just a few other bar equipment like a spoon and a half a shaker. We're going to start with 1/3 of an ounce of some strawberry syrup or grenadine if you can find it. So I've already had my creme de menthe prepped, and we're going to go ahead and use the back of a spoon to layer our creme de menthe on top. I'm going to slowly pour that so it creates the top layer. There we go. And now, our finishing touch. We're going to be adding a little bit of creme de banana with a little bit of overproof rum, just to make sure it's nice and light. And we're going to slowly pour that as well on top of our second layer, creating the third. Here we go. And here we have our Bob Marley shot. Please remember to drink and socialize responsibly.
All right, Gossett, I know you're online somewhere there in Westmoreland. Good morning.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for the introduction, Marlene. I guess there's not really much more for me to say. I'm grateful for being a part of this Expo and Career Fair. I would just like to speak a little bit about mixology and bartending and how they work hand in hand. I view it as two different elements that work together well, like a bar and a restaurant, the bar and the kitchen becoming a restaurant. And bartending for me it's been in my blood forever. My father was a bartender. I used to watch him. He used to mix a bunch of stuff, and you know, when he had competitions, he'd give me a little to taste and say, taste this, don't tell your mother. But moving on into the bar space, there's three main parts of the bar, and that would be the front bar, the back bar, and the under bar, which the front bar is basically where customers come up or where the servers would place their orders. Typically, it's always about 18 or 16 inches wide. The surface is normally alcohol proof. The edge usually is recessed to accommodate pouring or displaying brands. Most people would refer to that part as the rail. It has a dual function. It is a decorative space. It's also storage space in some cases. Some people would preferably relate to it as the soul of the bar. And it speaks to the image of a bar and the type of beverages a patron can expect to be served. Some bars would have a mirror, which would come from Western traditions, which allow customers that are sitting at the bar to see if somebody who's coming from behind or who's approaching them. The other part would be the back bar or under bar, which serves the purpose as viewing the room for customers or adding depth to the room decor. Useful tools for bartenders you could use to view the. Hold on, my presentation's a bit screwy. One moment. All right, here we go. So the base of the bar back is usually allocated for storage and refrigeration and otherwise. storage of like chemicals for cleaning and such forth. So bar operations, depending on the company that you're in, the bar setup would be different. For example, for all inclusives, you would basically be at the center of the bar, serving quickly, whereas you might have like what we call speakeasy or piano bars, which the setup is a bit different. It's a bit laid back. At the moment, I am working for the Rock House Hotel, as Marlene just stated, where we have what we call an EP bar, which is a cash bar. And, as a bartender, you would have to deal with the sales, inventory, and of course, taking care of the clientele around you, whether it being, your regular guests or your co-workers, as we call them, your internal customers. At this point, you can, go ahead and shoot questions on bar if there's anything that you'd need to know. Or could I go on with this slide presentation? And I just realized that there was a message saying that you're not seeing the presentation for the use of time. I will just, go ahead and mention what's here on the presentation.
Okay, Gossett, you can go ahead and mention what's on the presentation, but I think, do we have any questions there? I have a question for you. When you participated as part of Team Jamaica, just tell me a little bit about that experience. What was it that you actually did? Because Team Jamaica is not just the culinary aspect, meaning the foods, but it's also the beverages. And tell me a little bit about that experience.
As in the competition, right?
The competition, yes. You're representing Jamaica.
All right. So it's hosted by the Culinary Federation of Jamaica. It is a culinary competition, not just of chefs. There is the bar aspect to it, where as a bartender you would have 4 categories or 3 categories depending on the year that you would compete in. That would be a rum category, which you would have to make a classic cocktail but have a contemporary twist. Also, there's a vodka category, which is what we refer to as the culinary category. You would have to display some level of culinary technique. This is where your gastronomic techniques can come in. Also, there's a mystery basket where you have 25 minutes to prep a drink from scratch. You cannot use any of your own ingredients or anything that you brought other than your tools. And then there's a non-alcoholic competition that is more of a freestyle. You would just bring your own theme and explain why you thought this would be good for your beverage. For my last competition in 2018, I made a twist on what we call a Negroni. So I realized Campari is a big deal now here in Jamaica, and it is a cocktail. The Negroni is a cocktail made with Campari, but it was originally with gin. I Jamaicanized it in a sense by using rum that was infused with tamarind, and creating our own sweet vermouth, which vermouth is a fortified wine. So I grabbed a bunch of Jamaican herbs and spices and put it all together. And I ended up with a gold medal with that one, and I won that category as well. For the non-alcoholic, I did a beverage I call the Hallelujah mocktail. So a mocktail is like a cocktail, but of course without alcohol. And I realized that there is a unique fact that we have here in Jamaica, that we have the most bars and churches per square mile. So, and that's in the Guinness Book of World Records.
Yes. According to the Guinness World Book of Records.
Yes, Jamaica is in the Guinness Book of World Records for the most churches and bars per square mile. So I thought to myself, how could I bring the bar to church? And I stepped in with a Bible. I made a drink from milk and honey. And I found other scriptures that spoke of other ingredients like mint and cinnamon that went into the beverage, and I garnished it with a fresh a honey cone that we cut into a square and had that float on top with a few mint leaves. I even had a choir behind me to sing hallelujah. Some of the most interesting beverages I've made, though, happen to be in the culinary category, where we're using vodka, which is a neutral spirit. It takes on the flavor of anything you mix it with, and believe it or not, some of those cocktails were very different. Let me say that. Very interesting. Like, I've made a Bloody Mary already out of the tin mackerel sauce. I've made a rundown cocktail that I had the opportunity to serve to the Honorable Edmund Bartlett at a luncheon at Devon House once. I made cocktails from curry chicken. I know it sounds weird, but it is definitely doable. I have a pastry chef friend that says that anything that you can eat, you can turn into a beverage. You just need to know how. And I would like to thank Pete Gordon and all the Rock House chefs that ever helped me chemist these beverages to put them to where they are.
A lot of persons don't recognize or even realize, Gussie, how technical this can become, and how the creativity that, there's a lot of creativity that is required for that bartender to stand out, because you're not going to just be the average Joe. You have to bring your A game, and you have to understand how to pair.
That's true.
You have to, we talk about a sommelier, and you say, who's a sommelier? Well, that's a wine steward. That's somebody who specializes in just wines, and they can tell you what wine to pair with what dish and what temperature it should be stored at. And, the more expensive the wine, I'm told, the better it is for you. And in these days when health and wellness is also part of the mix, they say red wine is good for you and all those kinds of things. So, we have persons from all over listening in, and not everybody's going to be a doctor or a lawyer or an Indian chief. So we want to expose our youngsters to all, the gamut of things that are available in the industry. And I think this is one of them. Yes.
One of the things that I would also make mention of is the know-how. Like, I think a lot of what you do is, perception and information. Like, learn your basics before going off to do anything else. I believe that, if you're going to be a part of something, if you want to become something, you need to be dedicated towards that, not motivated, because motivation in some cases can be like gas and can run out. But if you are the vehicle, if you are that dedication, on your worst day, you're still very much into it. You'll be known for whatever it is you are dedicated to. And with that said, a part of the bar that I realized sometimes most bartenders would not have the opportunity to is to really look on the structure of how particular beverages are made. For example, if you are making a cocktail, it should be a mix of liquor, sugar, water, bitters, citrus. Could be 2 liquors and one being flavored. Or if you're making a cooler, which is a mixed drink that's relatively low in alcohol and has a fruit flavor and sweet, or a fizz. The difference between a fizz and a fix or highball. Like, just as there are chefs and different tiers of the kitchen, I believe that bars should be developed to have different tiers. For example, right before we had to shut down with COVID and all that, we were beginning a setup where we had me, the mixologist, and then underneath me, you'd have your actual bartenders. And underneath the bartender, you would have what we refer to as the garnish guy. And to me, the garnish guy plays the most critical role, because he's the one prepping your infusions. He's the one prepping your cuts of garnish, whether it being an orange rind, a half wheel, a wheel. He's making sure your syrups, your tinctures, your bitters are all at the best quality and are stored properly. And then, of course, in some hotels they have what we refer to as a bar back, but here at Rock House we tend to move away from the bar back situation, and everybody holds hands and hearts and just come together and make sure they do what they need to do, where presentation of cocktails and the service for guests is concerned.
Gussie, we have a couple of questions for you. We're moving fast this morning, but we want to give you an opportunity to take a couple of questions. And if you had a final slide, then you can share that final slide with us. But Oshin, the questions that are online for Gussie.
Okay, here are 2 questions. What is the average income of a bartender, and why is bartending meaningful to you?
All right, so I'm going to answer the first, where the income comes in. That is dependent on you, the bartender. Now, if you're working in a company that allows you to have to collect tips, because some companies don't, your income is based on you. You're like your average income. Yes, you would have your base pay, and then you would have the gratuity. Where I'm employed, the bartender has the opportunity to affect their pay by the amount of items they sell. They call it the 10%. So whatever is sold, you get 10% of that added to your pay, and whatever credit card or room charge tips are, pooled and paid out, percentages paid out to you. Your cash tips are your own. So it really depends on you, the bartender. Also, you have, there's also opportunities for functions outside of work. I've done many functions as bartender. As one moment, please.
All right, so duty calls. We had another question which I wanted.
Sorry
to,
about.
That's okay,
as I was saying, there's opportunity for you to make even more money by doing outside functions, birthday parties, weddings, anniversaries, cocktail socials. It's a craft. It's just how much you invest in yourself and your craft. And if you're a good craftsman, you're gonna have your own tools, obviously.
Yes. So you pay yourself.
What was the second question?
The second part of that question, and I saw another question coming in. So can we just hear the second part and then the other question, and then we're going to wrap it up.
Why is bartending meaningful to you?
All right, to me, bartending gives me an ability to create. It's your God-given talent. Like that's the one godlike potential that we all have. I've seen bartenders elevate themselves from just being an average Joe bartender to becoming business owners. There's opportunities that you can create for yourself as a bartender. You could open your own cocktail service. You could open your own to-go, like right now, because you can't really have people sitting at a bar. You can do to-go cocktails. That's a thing now. For me, as I said, I grew up seeing my father bartend. I seen him done his competitions, and I always thought I wanted to do that too. And surprisingly, I went to school for electrical installation, and it was just a hobby of mine that has turned into a profession. So it's not really like I'm I'm at work. I'm doing what I love. I'm doing what I've been doing. I've been seeing around me since I was young, as we would say, from the idea I'm in.
All right, one more final question, Oshin.
Christine is asking, what are the two major beer clusters, and which beer type is created by warmer fermentation?
Two beer.
Could you repeat that again?
What are the two major beer clusters?
Beer clusters. Well, there's various type of beers, but here in Jamaica, we only seem to fool around stouts and lagers. There's pilsners. There's IPAs, which kind of have the same color as pilsners, but are on the bitter side, like a Guinness. There was a second part to that.
There was another.
Which beer type is created by warmer fermentation?
Warmer fermentation. Here's the thing, because here in Jamaica, our beers are made differently. For example, some beers they would use wheat versus us using cassava as starter for the beers. No, the process is a bit different. The warmer, I've never actually had the opportunity to make beer, but I would assume that the brewing of the beer would be. I think we would have a warmer climate or condition here in Jamaica due to our tropical climate, of course.
All right. There are several questions. Just pick one.
Other than the standard long counter bar, what other bar varieties are there?
Your standard long counter would be in every other hotel. Other than that, as I said, you have your speakeasies, which it's more quiet. It's more of a formal setting. You also have your very vibrant pool bars, which they could be round and in the middle of the pool, or put to a particular side of the venue, and patrons would go around, you know, frolicking or so. But and then you will always have your bar servers. I've been in piano bars before, and majority of the time they will mostly serve cocktails, or cocktails that are served up, meaning no ice in the beverage, or the glass, the type of glass that you're using doesn't really call for ice being in that glass. Pubs are a big deal. Our regular corner shops are, I refer to them as rum shops, because basically nobody's making cocktails in there. They're just giving you a flask of your favorite booze, and you purchase a chaser, and you and your friends have a vibe. That's how I can pick off the top of my head. Is there another question?
All right, Gussie, you know, I always get a little confused about all these different types of glasses, you know, which is a flute, which is this champagne, which one is for this cocktail, that cocktail, and all of those details that, you know, if you have to be in the business to really be able to understand and know which is which. But in the interest of time, and because we have such a packed morning, I'm going to ask you just to share with us your final slide, and then we're going to move on to another presenter, another exciting presenter. So final word is yours, and then we're going to wrap it up. What do you want to say
what
to
I
the
would say
youngsters?
for anybody aspiring, was somebody saying something?
No, I was just saying, what do you want to say to the youngsters who are in this morning as a final, as a parting shot?
Oh, I was about to say that if you are aspiring to become a bartender, I'd say learn your basics. I'd say a people's person, because you will have to have interaction with numerous persons, whether it being staff or guests, and you become an ambassador, not just for yourself, not just for the company, but for your country on a whole, because you will be asked questions on various aspects of our island, of our country. So, you know, just equip yourself the best way you can. Certification matters. Heart does very good trainings on bar and other parts of tourism. And, you know, I wish you all well with whatever it is you are aspiring to do.
All right. Thank you very much, Gossett. We look forward to seeing you in the grill where the sunset is like nowhere else. And all the best. Catch you next time.
All right. Thank you.
All righty. That was Gossett Brown Jr., our mixologist, bartender. We really appreciated his energy and his vibe and the information shared with us. And as you heard him say, you know, you have to be an ambassador, because you're one of those frontline persons as a mixologist or a bartender who will get asked all kinds of questions about your country. And so you really have to know, you have to have product knowledge, and you have to have knowledge of your country, of your island home. Now, there are several organizations that are part of the tourism landscape, and the Ministry of Tourism has 4 agencies. But before I go into those agencies, let me just congratulate a couple of persons who won earlier on, before I forget. We had 2 questions. One had to do with the parish, the parish in which you find the Chukka Good Hope Adventure Park and Falls, and the other had to do with how many years is TPDCo celebrating this year. We have 6 winners: Deanna Campbell, and Ishikiba Bucknell, and Chanel Gentles, and their answer was Trelawney. Yes, that's where we find that particular attraction. And then, of course, 25 years is what TPDCo is celebrating, and we want to congratulate Nathan Simpson, Shahini Campbell, and Adam Longman, who got their answer correct. All right, so we were telling you about the agencies of the Ministry of Tourism. There are 4. My agency, TPDCo, the Tourism Enhancement Fund, the Jamaica Tourist Board, and Jamaica Vacations, JAMVAC. The ministry also has direct responsibility for Devon House, Bath and Milk River Mineral Spas, and most recently, the Montego Bay Convention Center. Several hundred persons are employed to carry out various aspects of the work, and the required skills set are variable. To tell us more about career options in tourism organizations, here's the Executive Training Manager for TPDCo. But let me tell you a bit about her before she comes. She's a very interesting lady. She joined TPDCo some 24 years ago, so she's almost as old as the company. But she joined as an administrative assistant. She worked her way up the ranks, performing exceptionally in her administrative and supervisory roles, while gaining the necessary qualifications in the areas of training and human resource management. She's the holder of a Master of Business Administration, emphasis in human relations, from the University of Technology, Jamaica, and a Bachelor of Science in Management Studies from the Northern Caribbean University, where she specialized in human resource management. She's also certified in areas such as public speaking, customer service, and training. A star performer over several years of her tenure, she's also a member of Toastmasters International, an organization dedicated to improving communication, public speaking, and leadership. She was awarded Caribbean's Champion Impromptu Speaker in 2015. Let me see you light up the chat for Mrs. Erica Brown Whittingham, Executive Human Resource Manager of TPDCo. Over to you, Madame Erica.
Thank you very much, Marlene. Good morning, everybody. Now, one of the things I don't do very well is technology, and I'm trying to share my screen. So unlike the other persons, I'm not sharing at this time, but that's fine. We are going to go ahead. Good morning. We are going to talk a little bit about the organizations and the carriers that are within this ministry, the Ministry of Tourism. I want to take the opportunity to speak to the ministry as a body, as well as the agencies or departments that fall within this ministry.
Erica, can you, okay, go ahead. Go ahead. I was going to ask you to share as a slideshow so that the slides are much bigger on screen.
All right, Marlene, are you seeing that?
I'm seeing you. I was seeing your slides just now.
All right, let's try to share it again.
Okay.
Still not seeing it.
No, I'm seeing your lovely face.
Oh. All right. I would love for the participants to see the slides though. So we will work through that.
Okay, we'll give you a chance to work through the slides, and I'm going to ask a question in the meantime so that we can give away some of these goodie bags. And the question quickly is, how many resort areas are in Jamaica? How many resort areas are in Jamaica? Name 2. How many resort areas are in Jamaica? Name 2. Put your answers in the chat for a chance to win any of our goodie bags that we have in the background, our Spruce Up Jamaica goodie bags. And the first 3 correct answers will win a prize. The first 3 correct answers will win a prize. All right. Are we sorted?
Are you seeing it now?
No, I'm seeing my fat face. But you're coming up right now.
Are you there? I believe you're sharing your screen, Marlene.
No, I am not.
All right. Let's go ahead and work without it.
You would have been given permission earlier on to share your screen. So click.
Absolutely, it was working all along.
Click on the share screen at the top, and then click on the actual PowerPoint, and it should open.
Right. So I'm actually seeing you, Marlene, when I share screen.
All right, I'm going to suggest that we go without the PowerPoint, Erica. I know you want your participants to see the screen, and you have spent quite a bit of time putting your PowerPoint together, and we would want for them to benefit from having the visuals in your presentation. Maybe Renee can run around, since you're right here in our head office in Kingston. Maybe she could run around and assist you in the process.
That would be nice. Would you sing in the meantime?
You want me to sing in the meantime? No, I'm a better dancer than I am a singer. Do we have any winners for the question asked, Ocean? No winners?
Yes, we do. I requested for persons to send their answers in one message. The first person to do so was Giselle Reed. She said 6, and Kingston and Portland.
That's correct. Giselle, what's her name?
Giselle Reed.
Reed.
And the second person, Anthony Smith. Ocho Rios and Montego Bay, he said.
Giselle, where are you from? And Anthony Smith, where are you from? And which schools do we have online? It would be good if you dropped the name of your school in the chat so that we can have a better idea, and of course give a shout out to all of the schools that are with us this morning. I believe we had over 500 registrations, and we are also broadcasting on our YouTube channels. For those persons who were not able to get in on Zoom, they certainly have the opportunity to join us on GIS's YouTube as well as TPDCo's YouTube. And while we're at it, remember to follow us, like us on our social media platforms at TPDCo JA, whether it's Instagram, Twitter, or Facebook. We're at TPDCo JA. Join us. Be a part of our journey. All right, we have any luck? Erica? There you go. We're not hearing you, but we are now seeing your slide. All right, well, let me just tell you a little bit about what's to come. We do have a very, very interesting presentation that we'll be having from our friends in the festival and events subsector of this industry. It's an area that feeds very much into tourism, and I know a lot of youngsters are interested in events management, events planning, and all of that. And there are many, many opportunities in that area. Of course, COVID has affected so many things, but in normal times, there are, events and activities of that nature which create experiences for people and which act as a means of pulling people into your destination as attractors. And even when we think of things that are happening in our communities, community tourism, which is one area that TPDCo does a lot of work on, we think of communities staging specific events to pull people into their communities, and so that everybody can benefit from this industry.
When you're ready, Marlene?
I am ready. I'm filling for you.
And you are seeing my screen nicely?
Yes, I'm seeing your screen.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your patience. Good morning, everybody. Now, we have seen a number of videos since morning, and thank you for the introduction, Marlene. We have seen a number of videos this morning, and I'm taking it that there are some things about that goodness that we see and the paradise effect that appeal to the people who are online at this time. So if it is, all I have to tell you in my 15 minutes of fame is that we want you to join the Ministry of Tourism. We're going to talk a little bit about careers within this space. And if it is too that you have no inclination to work directly with visitors and you want to work as part of the engine that drives this industry, there is a space for you. We want you here in the Ministry of Tourism. So we're going to talk about career options that are within this ministry. And we are going to start by looking at the ministry as an overarching body. So this space is where the industry of tourism is driven in Jamaica. So this space is what governs the over 200,000 employees at this time. And because we would have had at least 4 million persons coming to the island at any point in 1 year, this is the space that governs that kind of travel. So the Ministry of Tourism, what they are responsible for is for strategies and for evaluating what is on the ground and for strategic planning and implementing policy. You would have heard already that the Milk River Bath and Bath Fountain, Devon House, and the Montego Bay Convention Center falls under the Ministry of Tourism. This is what they call the engine of innovation. This is where we use what we already have to position Jamaica as a prime destination within the Caribbean. So under the Ministry of Tourism, there are a number of agencies and departments that offers career opportunities for you once you would have completed your study. And let's start by looking at the Jamaica Tourist Board. Now, this agency has one charge, and that is to allow persons to know about this space that we call Jamaica. It has been established in 1955, and whether persons are now traveling for sports or adventure, or they're honeymooners or they're wedding persons, the Jamaica Tourist Board is charged with identifying these group of people who travel. They're also charged with maintaining relationships for travel partners. In this 15 minutes, we're going to look at a number of things to include where Jamaica Tourist Board is. So we have two offices locally. One is right here in Kingston. The other one is in Montego Bay. There are 3 offices of the Jamaica Tourist Board. Overseas, we have the Miami office, Toronto, and London. But in order to allow the world to know about this 4,422 square mile that we call Jamaica, we had to extend the reach. So we have representatives in Germany and in Spain and in Italy and in Amsterdam and in Japan, just to make people know that we exist and we are ready to welcome them. So the Jamaica Tourist Board falls snugly right in the Ministry of Tourism. Then we have TPDCo. Now, you would have heard already that TPDCo celebrates its 25th year. And what do we do as a company? We are charged with, as the name suggests, developing the tourism product. And how do we do that? We make sure that plans that are in place, and if there are no plans in place, we develop those plans and program for the resort areas. I don't know that I can say the answer to Marlene's question, but we have 6 resort areas right across the island. And TPDCo is involved in assisting the improvement of infrastructure. So the physical space in these resort areas are under the purview of TPDCo. We also encourage investment in tourism-related activities. So just in case you have a cave in your country or in the area that you live that you believe would be a viable tourism industry, there's an arm of TPDCo that works with you to develop that into a tourist attraction. We're also charged with developing the human resource within the tourism industry. So we utilize trainers, and we make sure that once you enter the industry, you have the skill set that is necessary to go far and grow within this industry. Now, the TPDCo has 6 local offices, and in addition to those offices, we operate the Rio Grande and Roaring River attractions. In addition to TPDCo, so there is JTB, there is TPDCo, which is the Tourism Product Development Company, but there's also JAMVAC, Jamaica Vacation, that falls within this ministry. So as a quick overview, Jamaica Vacations was created for a specific purpose, and that is to oversee passengers that come via air within our space. So how they do that, they form alliance with tour operators and charter operators, and flights that are scheduled, they monitor those, they make sure that rooms are filled, and where there are smaller spaces that needs to be filled, Jamaica Vacation focuses on that. They help to grow new markets, and we understand our markets to be anywhere from whence people come to the island, and gateways are the space from which they fly, from which they enter. So Jamaica Vacation is uniquely set up, and it's not a new company. It has been established since 1978. And of course, what their purpose really is to ensure that they monitor the airlift passengers into our island. Because this is one tourism space, the Jamaica Vacation also works closely with the Jamaica Tourist Board in respect of the marketing thrust. Then we have the baby of the ministry, and this is the Tourism Enhancement Fund. Most of us will hear about TEF. The Tourism Enhancement Fund was established in 2005, and the purpose was solely to implement the plans that are encompassed in a document called the Tourism Master Plan that was created in 2002. In 2018, however, the TEF, the Tourism Enhancement Fund, was restructured, and the mandate broadened to include the tourism linkage network. And this is where we make tourism very inclusive. So if you plant potatoes, we want to use your potato within the industry. If you farm chicken, we want to use that product within the industry. And that arm falls within the Tourism Enhancement Fund. In the Tourism Enhancement Fund also, we have the JCTI, and these are the persons who are responsible for certification of Jamaicans within the tourism industry, and also to facilitate any new development and innovation within this tourism space, because we understand that tourism is not static. So as demands change and needs change, then the industry must change with it. Of course, we have a Craft Development Institute that's coming within this TEF space. So let's talk a little bit about why I'm here to talk to you, about careers within this ministry. Now, of the little over 300 persons here, we don't mind getting a minister from you, and we don't mind getting a permanent secretary or directors to the organization or managers. But while you garner some experience, let's say you like communication, we have a space that is dedicated to public relations, and this is it's not limited to local public relations, but it's Caribbean wide and it's international. You don't like to speak publicly, but you like to work in the background in PR. So you want to be your social media officer and you want to work in the digital space. There is a space for you within this industry. We have the section that is called the Corporate Services Division, and this falls within all of the agencies within this ministry. It encompasses the human resource development. So your thing is that you like to treat with your own staff and your own people, and you like to look at the wellness of your team, then HR is for you. If it is that you like records and you like logistics and you like to put things together, then there is a record management system for you. MIS means Management Information System. You like technology and you like to put novices like me on screen and you like to do the background work. We have MIS space within this ministry that you can work. You want to be in charge of finances and you want to write check and transfer funds and you like balancing books, we have the finance section for you as well. Office management, of course, we need someone to look over the space within which we operate. We want some persons who can secure goods and services and spend government funds according to the mandate of the Ministry of Finance. Then public procurement is for you. If it is that you like to assist, and I heard Chuka, Ms. Gomes call it Chief of Staff or something to that effect. We still call ours administrative officers and assistants and secretaries. We have that opportunity present within this tourism industry. If it is that you like to drive and you want to be assigned to our CEO or to other spaces within the industry as a driver, we can accommodate you in that space as well. Now, because we understand that knowledge changes, we have to have trainers within this industry. And once things change, we have persons who will train team members within the tourism space on what is new and what is cutting edge. And if it is that you would have entered this tourism space without the requisite knowledge of or history of tourism or culture, and you would have heard the bartender say that once you are serving, you're going to have to be an ambassador for your country and speak to your island space, then we have spaces for persons who want to train as well. So one part of the Ministry of Tourism is that we must assess all properties and all players within this industry. And this is a physical assessment. We have the product quality department that facilitates officers who will go out and look at all the attractions and look at all the accommodations and look at all the shopping areas to make sure that it is safe for visitors to go. You're into market and sales and you want to analyze and you want to evaluate numbers and you want to work at the airport and you want to be that person who visitors ask questions to. You want to be that person who asks visitors questions to see how their stay was and if it is that we can do anything to enhance it or what we need to maintain. There is a space for you within this industry. Now, let's say you're not sure what you want to do, but you have a knack for developing business. You have a knack for taking people's ideas and making it into reality. We have a space for you in business development. You want to check figures and you want to check the ministry's performance and you want to check the agency's performance and you want also to make sure that we are being responsible in how we operate. There is a space for you in the auditing department. Just in case you are a legal mind and you want to join the legal team, there is a space for you within this industry. So if you're into making policies and analyzing what exists and putting things in place to making it work better, there is a space for you in our policy formulation division of the ministry. So you are artistic. You really don't want to work directly with visitors, but you like craft. There is a space for you within this industry. You don't have to work in the craft markets or in craft shops and things like so. You can develop strategies to creating new and better craft. You can oversee this area of the industry and we'd be more than happy to have you. Now, if you're into project management, so you're not into the fun stuff and the jumping off cliffs and so forth, unless you're on holidays, but your course of study guides you to project management, then think about being a quantity surveyor or an engineer or an architect with us. The bottom line of my presentation is, ladies and gentlemen, is that we want you. Come. We're looking for bright minds within this industry, and I don't want you to cast tourism in a box as in serving persons and making drinks and so forth, because all that is good and have its place, but we want persons who will work in the background, persons who will be a part of the engine that drives this space. So we want you to come. We want young minds. We want persons who think outside the box. One of the things you must have, though, is an appreciation for persons who come to the island. So you will hear that the hospitality industry is a people industry. We want you to appreciate that of the 195 independent nations that visitors could have chosen for their vacation, they choose us. And if they choose us, we must make that choice worth the while. We want you to come in, join us, talk to us. We want great minds, persons who are technologically inclined, persons who are inclined to thinking differently. And once the trend changes and it's not just sun, sea, and sand, we want persons who can answer that call. The Ministry of Tourism offers that kind of career choice. And of course, we are more than happy and willing to talk with you. At this point, I'll take any questions or comments you may have.
Erica, I believe we have exhausted our time allotted, and so we're not able to take any questions, but live that is. But we encourage persons to put the questions in the chat, and we will certainly endeavor to get back to them with the respective answers. Thank you so much, Erica. That
Not a
is
problem.
mouthful. I know it was a lot, and thank you so much for your time and for your
My
energy
absolute pleasure.
and for all the information. All right, that was Erica Brown Whittingham, our Executive Human Resource Manager here at TPDCo. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have a special musical treat for you coming up a little later. Time is upon us. We wanted to share with you a broad spectrum of activities that bring visitors to our shores and locals to the respective activities. People come for meetings, incentives, conferences, and exhibitions. The acronym used to refer to such markets is MICE. You may recall the United Nations World Tourism Organization Conference, which was hosted by Jamaica in 2017. That was just a wonderful event. I had the pleasure of working. This was a wonderful opportunity to host people from all over the globe and to show off our country and its people. But did you know that festivals and major events are also a key pull factor, bringing large numbers of people into a destination? I'm sure you've heard of Reggae Sunsplash, ATI, Jamaica Jazz and Blues, Reggae Sumfest, Jamaica Coffee Festival, which just recently was held virtually for the first time, and there's so many others. This linked industry provides careers for many creatives. Some take on careers as marketing professionals, singers, musicians, dancers, entertainment coordinators, photographers, videographers, digital people, lighting technicians, logisticians, directors, and the like. The fascinating end product is what mesmerizes us. But work would have started long before the spectacle. We're very fortunate today to have to talk to us a very multifaceted individual, one who has lived and breathed this aspect of the industry. He is in fact the owner and managing director of River Raft Limited since 1985, and they're operators of rafting on the Martha Brae and one of Jamaica's premier tourist attraction, which is one of Jamaica's premier tourist attractions, and the island's #1 bamboo rafting attraction, and also the Jamaica Swamp Safari Village. Both are located in Trelawney. He is best known for his role as founding member and executive director of Summerfest Productions Limited, producers of Reggae Sumfest for over 20 years, 1995 to 2016. He restructured the festival in 95, and under his stewardship, the festival earned the reputation of being the premier reggae music event in the world and garnered numerous awards. He was responsible for planning the event, including the artist lineup, all aspects of the production and the overall execution of the festival, as well as for negotiating record-level sponsorship agreements with corporate partners. Reggae Sumfest became the benchmark for showcasing reggae artists, and especially young and upcoming acts that are today household names across the world. It was also an important summer event, helping to cement Jamaica as a prime summer destination, attracting thousands of visitors to the island annually. He has received several awards, chief among them the Order of Distinction in 2018 from the Government of Jamaica for contribution to tourism, development, and entertainment. He wears so many hats, a founding member of the Association of Jamaican Attractions Limited, AJAL, and its longest-serving president. And I know he would also want for me to let you know that he's a past student of Cornwall College and a member of TPDCo's board. Before we welcome Mr. Johnny Grzang to the virtual lectern, here are snippets from his tenure producing the greatest reggae show on earth, Reggae Sumfest.
Story before she say that he just want her cooperate. Find somebody that's cooperate. The suit and time more appropriate. You want to be behind curtain, and me fed up with them. Tell them I your friend when I check it. Them is a different person. Hey, some face you not see, you not see how you no be nice. Bust it big on the mountain street. Oh, some fresh, them get mad. Watch them say they want bad. Chop them over one done. Suppose them Snoop Dogg, come on. Hop it, stop it, hopping like a rabbit. When I take the Nina Ross, you know I got to have it. I got to have it. Stay back in the cut, retain myself.
Social don't makes me so confused. I keep on falling in and out of love. Put your hands up. I don't see your hands up. Put your hands up.
Woke up in the middle of the night and I noticed that I wasn't by my side. Noticed when I was dreaming through, I was dreaming, so I had to take a little ride. Backtracking on
You spin my head right round when you go down, yeah.
Hey, Usher, you can't do that one here. Bully creeper.
All right. Highlights of Reggae Sumfest. Over to you, Mr. Johnny Grisong, the architect of some of these really, really exhilarating, really fabulous moments. Over to you.
Thank you very much, Marlene. Good morning to everyone.
Are we seeing you?
Are you seeing me?
I am seeing your name. Would you share a video, please? Ah, there you are. We are seeing you now. Some really exciting moments there from Sumfest over the years.
Yes.
I've had a few.
A labor of love.
Yes.
Yeah, well, I'm very honored to be here with you today to share information on career opportunities within the events industry. Hosting events, as you know, is an integral part of a winning strategy for any tourism destination to attract new and repeat visitors. At the very highest level, the Olympics and the FIFA World Cup deliver tremendous return for the host countries. Here in Jamaica, this strategy of event marketing as a tool to promote the destination has taken hold, as evidenced by the wide range of events that take place annually, successfully showcasing our rich culture beyond just sun, sea, and sand. Recent studies reveal that the events industry prior to COVID-19 generated somewhere in the region of $84 billion for Jamaica annually. One event leading that charge, of course, is Reggae Sumfest, which I had the honor of producing for over 20 years. First stage in 1993, the event takes place annually during the third week of July in Montego Bay. There are a number of other events ranging from music festivals, food theme events, sporting events, literary, and film festivals. Some of these include Jamaica Jazz and Blues, Rebel Salute, Reggae Sunsplash, Jamaica Carnival, Dream Weekend, Calabash Literary Festival, Boys and Girls Champs, and of course, regional and international cricket, just to name a few. These events employ thousands of people across the length and breadth of Jamaica, providing various avenues for career development. Producing an event at the level of Reggae Sumfest requires a wide range of expertise to properly plan and execute. Using my experience of producing Sumfest as a guide, I'll give you some insight on some of the career opportunities that exist. First, we have an event owner, promoter, also known as the executive producer. This can be an individual or a company. They conceptualize the event and assume the financial risk associated with staging it. Thereafter, we need to actually plan the event. This requires an event logistics planner, also known as the event producer. This can actually be the event owner promoter themselves or someone hired by the promoter to oversee and coordinate the overall planning of the event. This role requires strong project management, organizational skills, time management, budgeting, leadership, and communication skills. Functions include lineup planning, procuring venues and permits, delegating other functions to team members, and managing workflow to ensure seamless execution, contracting talent, coordinating arrangements with external suppliers, and budget management. Another important function involves coordination of accommodation, air travel, and ground transportation for artists, crew, special invited media, and other guests. Next, we have the venue manager. Now, this is a very important person. The venue manager is responsible for the preparation of all venues, from design and layout to actual build out of the venues. This role also requires strong project management skills. Expertise in construction, engineering, and planning are beneficial. The venue manager and his team are the point of contact for sponsors during on-site executions. There are a number of key functions that fall under the purview of the venue manager, each with their own department head and execution teams, namely traffic management, parking management, sanitation management, vendor management, bar management. The festival also requires a technical producer, also known as the production manager, who is responsible for the overall stage design and production, technical production of the event. With the approval of the executive producer, the technical producer will engage external service and equipment providers, such as lighting, stage, roof, audio, backline, and LED screens. They also hire all the necessary stage production personnel and liaise with the production teams for the talent to ensure the festival meets all the technical needs for each act. The stage production personnel include lighting designer, lighting engineers, house engineer, monitor engineer, stage rigger, stage manager, follow spot operators, backline technicians, and production assistants. At Reggae Sumfest, we also engage a number of persons to handle talent relations on the ground at the festival, such as backstage manager, dressing room assistants, transportation managers, artist liaisons. Planning begins 9 to 12 months prior to the festival staging and involves a wide ecosystem of service providers, many of whom saw their businesses develop directly as a result of the considerable array of events happening. These include talent booking agents, talent, that is artists, backing bands, disc jockeys, hosts, and MCs, as well as influencers, marketing and public relation consultants, social media marketing consultants, video production streaming partners, equipment rental companies, that is staging, lights, audio, LED screens, tents, generators, barriers, tables, chairs, etc. Fireworks, event decor providers, transportation providers, travel agents, hotels, bar management providers, caterers. I mean, from all of this list, you can see all that goes into the planning of the event. So how do you prepare for a career in the events industry? Many of us who have been in the business of event planning for over 20 years have no formal classroom training here. For us, it was learning on the fly, on the job training, if you will. This industry has developed out of the sheer creativity of those who are willing to take the plunge. Thankfully, there are now many avenues for young people to equip themselves with the requisite tools to prepare for a career in event planning and production. The first step as high school students is to ensure that you secure subjects at the CSEC level and or the CAPE level. A number of our institutions of higher learning now have programs that can help to prepare you for a career in the events industry, such as the Heart Trust, Entertainment and Events Management course. UWI Mona offers BA in Cultural and Creative Studies, a BA in Digital Media Production, short course in Entertainment and Events available on the open campus. UTech recently began offering a BSc in Entertainment Design and Product Technology with emphasis on set design, lighting, design, audio engineering, special effects, and broadcasting. On-the-job training is perhaps the most important tool one can utilize towards a career in the events industry. Every event is unique and will come with its own set of challenges. For those interested in pursuing a career in events, you should seek to get in on the ground level with an event like Reggae Sumfest. Entry-level positions at Reggae Sumfest included production assistants, artist liaisons, dressing room assistants. For university students, internships provide a fantastic avenue to gain experience in event planning while getting some school credit. For the last 10 or so years that my team ran the festival, we engaged interns in our main planning office and site preparation office in the months leading up to the festival, and successfully had interns placed with our PR and marketing consultants to specifically work on the marketing and PR of the festival. Another avenue for young people to break into the events industry is through opportunities with the various companies that sponsor large events. Many of our large brands engage brand ambassadors, promotional teams for the executions at events that they sponsor. It would be remiss of me not to address the current COVID-19 pandemic and the wide-ranging effects that it has had on the event industry. Presently, it is the only industry that has remained closed for the life of the pandemic, now going on 14 months. Despite the huge negative impact this has had on thousands of people who depend on the events industry for a living, we have seen how event promoters, musical artists, DJs, and creators in general have utilized the digital space to keep us entertained. There has been unprecedented development in that arena. We have seen the virtual stagings of events like Reggae Sumfest, Rebel Salute, Reggae Sunsplash, Jamaica Jazz and Blues Festival, Jamaica Rum Festival, and Jamaica Coffee Festival, all of which serve to help further expose our island's unique entertainment brands to a wider global audience. We still have a far way to go as it relates to utilizing the digital space to generate revenue for these event brands. But what is clear is that going forward as promoters, we will have no choice but to creatively use this virtual space to engage with consumers. It will warrant retooling and reinventing ourselves, but I'm certain that we in Jamaica have the capacity to do this. Availing ourselves of the skills required for digital media production and content creation that I mentioned earlier will therefore go a long way in preparing you to navigate the new normal post-COVID-19. Notwithstanding the current dynamic, I have no doubt that we will see the eventual reopening of the events industry. We look forward to a controlled phase reopening where you could see a hybrid of small in-person events combined with an online experience for those who choose to enjoy from the comfort of their homes. In closing, I urge you to begin thinking about ways you could see the industry involved in to stay on track with current trends so that it can continue to be a beacon for tourism and the ongoing development of brand Jamaica. Again, I'd like to thank TPDCo for affording me this opportunity to engage with you today. Thanks again.
And thank you so much, Mr. Johnny Guzong. We have 2 quick questions for you before you go. We can't accommodate all of them, but there is one which I think we need you to answer. And it says, what was your greatest challenge in producing Reggae Sumfest over the years?
There are many challenges. So, first of all, to produce an event like Reggae Sumfest and all the other festivals that we produce, sponsorship is key, it's critical. And therefore you have to approach the sponsors with a product that is saleable, that they trust, that they believe in, that they know that you will deliver a quality product. Because if they don't trust that, then you're going to be always challenged to get sponsors on board. And without sponsors, you can't stage the event.
Okay.
Secondly, of course, is putting a lineup together, because getting the kind of lineup you want is always difficult. You know, our artists are global artists. They tour all over the world. They're international artists, and getting a Berry's Harmony on your show is a challenge, you know. And of course, we want to project ourselves as the festival that can get artists like that, because artists like Berry's Harmony and a Buju Banton and a Damian Marley and so on, they don't want to appear 20 times a year in Jamaica. So they will select the events that they will appear on. And here again, they must trust you that you will deliver them in the manner in which they need to be delivered.
Yes.
And that was a big challenge every year. I think that after we had grown, you know, through the first 5 years, it became easier and easier, because they trusted us and we got to know them well. In many instances, some of them never even went through a formal contract and just signed a contract by when they got to the event. Such was the relationship.
All right. Well, we know that when Sumfest is on, Montego Bay and its environs, all the way back to Negril and Ocho Rios, is buzzing with activities. And there's a lot of spin-off to the economy, especially for the smaller people who, you know, have an opportunity to really maximize on their businesses during that time. The run up to and even after, because people do come for the show and stay for longer periods. Mr. Guzong, thank you so much. Time is right upon us, and we just want to thank you for sharing with us. We won't be able to take more questions, but all the best. And I know that, you know, you have been given several accolades and you have put your heart and soul into that festival. And we just thank you for putting Jamaica on the map with Reggae Sumfest. Thank you so much.
Thanks again, Marlene. I'm sure the festival will continue going from strength to strength.
Yes,
you know, as well as the other festivals that I mentioned.
Indeed.
We are the entertainment capital of the Caribbean, if not more than that.
Yes. All right. Thank you so much.
Thanks again.
Bless you. What can I tell you? Tourism Youth Expo and Career Fair, 2nd edition. We promised you a treat. And if you joined early, you would have been treated to the soulful and unique sound and vocal texture of Miss Joby J, recording artist, singer, songwriter. New on the scene, but making waves. And because time is upon us, let's just put our hands together and welcome her to TPDCo's Tourism Youth Expo and Career Fair. I have 3 quick questions for her, and then she's going to wow you. Hi, Joby. How are you? Joby J, are you there?
Hey, I'm here. Are you hearing me?
Yes, I'm hearing you, but I'm not seeing you. All right, but tell me
quickly.
My
video is on.
Your video is on? All right, well, quickly.
Yeah, it's on.
Okay, there you go. There you go. There you go. Tell me, where are you from, Joby J?
I am from Ocho Rios.
From Ocho Rios.
Actually.
And how did you get
Yeah.
that name? How did you get that name?
How did I get my name as in Joby J?
Yes. Is that your real name or is that your stage name?
No, actually Joby J is my stage name.
Ah.
My real name is Jobene. So people always called me Joby growing up. So when I decided I wanted to become a musician, I was just like, well, I feel like I need to add something to it. So I just added the J. And then people just started calling me Joby J, so I just worked with it.
All right. So tell me some of the places you've performed. Some of the places you have performed.
So I performed in a couple live shows recently for Reggae Month. I performed on Ladies' Night for the Ministry of Youth and Culture. I performed on a Jaria show. I also performed on a show for Tough Gang with a lot of other established artists. I have done local acoustic shows as well. I remember doing Unplugged. I also did Apollo series. So I've been...
All right. So you're making the rounds. You're making the rounds.
Yeah.
What inspires your songwriting? And I mean, what would you say has influenced your style?
All right. My songwriting is pretty much inspired by the things that I'm passionate about, the things that I want to speak out about, things that I go through, the things that I see other people go through. So it's pretty much life, my life experiences and things that I just feel like, you know, I just need to express. And my style is pretty much influenced by Jamaican music, so reggae music, and just a mixture of all the sounds that we have in Jamaica, as well as very influenced by like jazz music and stuff like that. So it's just a mixture of all the different things that I love. Yeah.
All right. Well, earlier on, while we were waiting to get started, we did get a taste of some of your music. And
okay,
we want now to get a little bit more because we hear you have something new in the bag and all of that. So let's as they say in the dance hall, run the track.
Joby J. Yeah. Me say me sorry if you never get to treat me like you want to treat me. Me nah go make you take your dirty foot and walk over me. Not a toy for you to treat how you please. Use me, abuse me, and then you leave. I'm a big girl now, thick skin, strong bones. I'm at your mind, and yes, a girl that knows that karma is a thing, so I will leave it be. But I go stress myself and take the work from thee. Big girl team, say me nine and a laughing team. I'm in nine and a ramping team. Eventually your true colors will show. I'm in a rump to cut you off. If all you do is waste my time, no add no value to my life. Me say me have to be selective with my space and energy. Sorry if you never get to treat me like you want to treat me. Me nah gonna make you take your dirty foot and walk over me. I'm not a toy for you to choose how you please. Use me, abuse me, and then you leave. I'm a big girl now, thick skin, strong bones. I'm at your mind, and yes, a girl that knows that karma is a thing, so I will leave it be. Me nah go stress myself and take the work from me. Big girl team. Send me nine and a laughing team. I'm in nine and a ramping team. Eventually your true colors will show. I'm in a rump to cut you off. If all you do is waste my time, no add no value to my life. I feel be selective. Sorry if you never get to tell me more lies. Run come to me with fake tears in your eyes. Me no have the mark on my forehead. Think me I gotta change my mind cause they say you're sorry. I loved you, yes, but I love me more. I know my worth, I know there's better things in store. So karma is a thing, I'm gonna leave it be. Me not gonna stress myself and take the work from thee. Big girl team, say me nine and a laughing team. I'm in nine and a rocking team. Eventually your true colors will show. I'm in a rump to cut you off. If all you do is waste my time, no add no value to my life. feel be selective with my space and my energy. I feel be selective with my space and my energy. My energy. I feel be selective with my space and my energy. My energy. I feel be selective with my space and my energy. My energy. I feel be selective with my space. Big girl ting, seven and no laughing ting. I mean I know ramping ting. Eventually, I mean I ramp to cut you off. If all you do I waste my time, no add no value to my life. I say I have to be selective with my space and my energy. Big girl team, we not in a no laughing team, and we not in a no ramping team. Eventually, them true dirty colors will show. When I go ramp to cut them off. If all them do I waste with time, no add no value to a life. So I have to be selective with space and with energy. Big girl team, and we not in a no laughing team, and we not in a no ramping team. Eventually, I ramp to cut you off. If all they do I waste my time, now add no value to my life. Where I have to be selective with space and my energy. Yeah, big girl thing. Hashtag big girl thing. Yeah, dedicated to all the queens, all the women. Know your worth. And have to stay in a no bad situation. Because we're better than that. Right? Yeah. Alright, so this next song is my newest single. It's called Headache. And I mean, you'll get white name Headache. So... Let's go. Make sure it's not rock, you know. Make sure it's not rock and I enjoy the music, right? Me no want fight. I mean, say me no want fight. Headache, why you giving me a headache? All I wanted from you was for you to communicate. It's not a clean slate. It's like you always lit. Of me I contemplate if this is our fate. Sorry, why you can't just say you're sorry? It's like you don't see I'm hurt. Or is it that you just don't care? Baby, I wanna work this out. No, why you stress me out? No, not do it in a cloud. Me no expect you to be perfect. I just want it to be worth it. And me know me not perfect. We just need to be honest, patient. Can't you see I'm being patient? Baby, please don't leave me hanging. I wanna know if you're all in on headache. Why you giving me a headache? All I wanted from you was for you to talk to me. It's not a clean slate. It's like you always late. Of me I contemplate if this is our fate. We've had so many good times, so many laughs and smiles. Babes, you know me love your vibe. My knees weak when you smile. This connection, you and I. But not lie, it is a rare find. So funny when not even I try. This love make me feel sky high. Hey boy, me no want fight. Just know it's time me need it in my life. Come we take off on a flight. Go on a hike. Me and you, that sounds so right. We can talk all night till daylight. This is sound of your voice make me feel so. We have to get this right, come in a lifetime. Just need you in my life. Headache, why you giving me a headache? All I wanted from you was for you just to talk to me. It's not that it's late. It's like you always leave it of me I contemplate if this is our fate. No one I hate it. Why you give me a headache? All I wanted from you was for you to communicate. Don't want no headache. Me don't want no headache. Babes not give me no headache. I mean I want no, me no want fight, me no want fight. I miss him, me no want fight, me no want fight, me no want fight, me no want fight, me no want fight.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Youth Expo. Blessings, everybody. Please continue to enjoy everything.
And blessings to you too, Miss Joby J. You know, if you enjoyed that, let me see your reactions. Put a word in the chat to describe how you feel with that performance. Ladies and gentlemen, I have to apologize to a colleague of mine, Maxine. Maxine, we love you and we'll see you next time, all right? I have one more thing, though, to ask of you, and that is for you to participate in a poll to rate this TPDCo Tourism Youth Expo and Career Fair. We're going to launch it now, and it will take about a minute or so, but please know that we value your feedback, and we hope to use your responses to these questions to inform us for the next Expo and Career Fair. So please look into the chat, and you will see the poll. It's being launched as we speak. Please complete the poll. Just a couple of questions, and then we will collect that data and we will use it to inform how we proceed. We know some persons may have come on to hear a little bit about tour guiding. We weren't able to do it today, but we promise you sometime in the future we will certainly get that in for you. And our poll is up and progressing. Yes, can I be assured? All right. All right, so do your thing. I'm not sure if I said congratulations to Anthony Smith and Giselle Reed, who were winners earlier on in our question and answer goodie bag section, but congratulations to you too. And you know, this industry is so very important. We know how it reaches way down into Jamaica's economy, and not just Jamaica's economy, but the Caribbean's economy, and how many lives are affected. And I'm from the magic city of Montego Bay, so I know what it is all about. When tourism is up and running, you can feel it in the air. The people in the hardware shop can tell you, you know, what it feels like for tourism to be doing well. The people who are down at the market can tell you what it feels like. The people who are selling shoes and hair and clothes and all of those things can tell you what it feels like when this industry is doing well. And we know we have to treat with our pandemic. I encourage everybody to adhere to the protocols that have been established and do what you have to do. The vaccine is now available for those persons who fall into the category that are top of the list. Please make use of the opportunity. And we know we will rise again. I'm confident of that. And so teachers, students, colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for doing the poll, and that brings us to the end of TPDCo's Virtual Tourism Youth Expo and Career Fair edition number 2. We trust you found it informative and enjoyable. I want to say thanks to the GIS technical crew under the direction of Omar Green today, and my super corporate communications and community awareness team, Miss Renee Johnson, Oshin Wong, Catherine Maxfield Blake, Mrs. Deborah Bennett, and of course, Roshane Robinson from TPDCo's MIS department. Our gratitude is extended to our presenters who delivered amazing and informative presentations. I learned from them. I certainly hope you did. And I couldn't have done it without you. The biggest thank you goes to you, our participants, our teachers and students who showed up today. We hope you got valuable information on aspects of the tourism industry, and we may have whetted your appetite, or at least given you a little bit more information as you choose a career going forward. I encourage you, choose something that you're passionate about and work your darndest to excel at it. Don't limit your challenges, challenge your limits. Wise words coming from a wise man. This industry calls for a winning attitude and hard work and guts, but it also has many, many rewards. Thank you so much for joining us, and remember to like us and follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter at TPDCoJA. I'm Marlene Stevenson Daly. Godspeed and good afternoon.
Stress myself and take the work from thee. Big girl team, 799 a laughing team. I'm in 9 and a ramping team. Eventually your true colors will show. I'm in a ramp to cut you off. If all you do is waste my time, no add no value to my life. Say me have to be selective with my space and my energy. Sorry if you never